All right, hello everyone. My name is Nota. I'm actually a sophomore, so some of you might be sophomores as well. I'm from Jamestown, Rhode Island, so I'm a local. I study green business. I'm in the green business program, so I'm a double major in general business and environmental economics, and I also have a minor in leadership studies. What I'm involved in on campus, I'm on the URI sailing team, where I'm also the alumni coordinator of the team, so I help get alumni from the URI that have graduated and gone off into the professional world, come back to the team, donate, get involved, give URI's current sailors opportunities in job positions. I'm also part of Delta Sigma Pi, which is the new business fraternity. It's not technically a full chapter yet, but it's progressing into one. Some of you probably know about the Leadership Institute. It was part of that my freshman year, and then I went on to apply and become a leader at the Leadership Institute this past year, which has been a big part of my time commitment. So sailing's in the fall and the spring, and then during the winter, I usually have a job where I'm a ski instructor up in Vermont, which takes a lot of my time as well. I'm a URI 101 mentor, which was a big deal for me being a sophomore. There's not many sophomores that get the opportunity to do that, so that was a pretty big deal for myself. Yeah.
Hello everyone, it's great to see you all here today. My name is Melvin DaCruz. I'm a junior accounting major here at the University of Rhode Island, and I'm from Pettit, Rhode Island. Some things time commitment for me is I'm secretary of Bond, Brothers on a New Direction, and that is basically a community service-based organization here on campus. What we do is like to go back to inner city schools in Providence and mentor kids in unrepresented schools, such as Hope or like just schools, and show the students at their schools that they can come to college. It's not impossible, and just mentor them throughout their high school experience. Another thing I do here on campus is I'm part of CVSA and NABA. And NABA is the National Association of Black Accountants, and that's one thing I recommend you guys all to try to be a part of. It gives you a great heads up for your, you don't have to be an accounting major to be a part of it, first of all, and it just gives you a great insight of the professional world and your career to go on. And CVSA is the Cape Verdean Student Association, and that is providing students with information on the Cape Verdean culture. I'm also a URI 101 mentor, and I work at the MSFC, Multicultural Student Service Center. Over there we have things such as a lounge where you can play video games, ping pong, a little basketball hoop, and we also provide tutoring there. For many people that don't know that, there's a chemistry tutoring and math tutoring over there. And it's a place where a lot of the multicultural orgs go and host their meetings.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Cece Jacob. I'm a senior accounting and Chinese double major, and I'm from Suffolk, New York. Some of the things I'm involved in on campus, my main involvement is tour guiding. I've been a tour guide for 4 years, and this year I am one of the program co-coordinators. So I, with my other co-coordinator, run the program together, schedule the tour guides. That's been a lot of fun. My next involvement is the Student Entertainment Committee. We all get together and decide who's coming onto campus, whether it's musicians, artists, singers, any like speakers. And my position on that committee is hospitality coordinator, so I get to host to the guests that when they come to the university. So it gives me cool bragging rights. And then I'm also a member of the Student Alumni Association as a coordinator of community and diversity. So one of the things that we focus on is raising money for different philanthropies. Our main one this year is RISE. So RISE focuses on sending students in Angola, Africa to school. So we raise money throughout the year to be able to send them to school in Africa, and that's pretty exciting. So, and I'm also a URI 101 mentor, so it's awesome to see some of my students here today.
Hello everybody, my name is Brandon Pettit. I'm a senior supply chain management and Chinese double major from Paterson, New York. A few things I'm involved in include being a URI 101 mentor, so some of the students I see here as well. I'm also the recruitment and retention coordinator of the tour guide program, so I'm the one that helps run the interview process, and I also make sure that any tour guide on the team feels welcome and happy being part of the team. In addition, I've been an orientation leader this past summer, along with Cece, and this upcoming summer I'll be the family coordinator for the orientation program. And I'm also involved with the Chinese flagship program, so the events that they hold throughout the year, the language competitions and writing competitions that they have, I partake in those as well.
Great. So obviously you all are involved in a lot of things. So if you could just give us a little bit more detail about your involvements and how you manage your time. So how do you have that student life balance? How do you manage all the classes that you're in, being that you're sophomores, juniors, seniors, and then also all of the things you're involved in? You can just go right down the line again.
So time management is huge. I think it's one of the biggest things we talk about in URI 101 is that like you're gonna fail if you don't know how to manage your time. When I came into freshman year, I thought I was crazy. Like I color coordinate my Google Calendar, and I thought that I was like the only one that did that, but I'm not. So for me, it's like I have to write down everything I do. Like it's like meet this person for lunch, just because if I have to compensate for the fact that I can't remember anything, like I just don't. It's a struggle for me to remember, so I write everything down. And for some people, you need to realize like that's what you have to do. For sailing, I practice 4 days a week, 2 to 6, and then on weekends I sail from about 9 to 5. So my days are pretty packed. So coming in freshman year, I totally overdid how much I was involved in, because I was like, oh, I was involved in high school, I'm going to be involved in college. Your involvement in college is a lot different from high school, and I think you have to realize that. There's also so many more opportunities to succeed in college. My biggest thing is you have to be involved in things you want to do, because if not, you're going to be miserable. And college is honestly about having fun and growing as an individual. So for sailing, that was my biggest thing. I love it's a club sport, but we compete on a varsity level. So it was really hard for me to want to become involved in academics and sports, but I found the time by making my Google Calendar awesome. I could do everything I wanted to do. But honestly, first semester, my freshman year, I had a 2.7. I did terrible because I didn't know how to organize my life. And then I pumped it up in my second semester, I had a 3.4. It's good to fail, but you need to progress from it. And it's so and then even advocating for yourself. I didn't get into my J-term trip this year, but I emailed and I called, and then I got in. My biggest thing my parents ever told me was advocate for yourself, and that can be super helpful with managing your time and being involved in things you want to be involved in. You can make it happen, it's all on you. And I think time management comes into that, and unless you're gonna organize yourself, no one's gonna do it for you.
So like Kate said, time management and organization is very key. And one of the ways I do that is on Sunday nights, I like to plan my whole week in advance and stick to that schedule. And you'll be kind of surprised, but by actually being involved, it keeps you very organized, because it's what are you going to do with your free time? I'm going to go to class, I'm going to go back to my room to sleep, or you know that you have to be at a meeting at this time, so you're going to do your homework before then. So by being involved, it does actually help with time management, and to keep organized, keep a little planner on you at all times, or write it in your phone. Sometimes you do forget things, but try not to be that person, and
And so going off that, what I use for time management is definitely to prioritize. My sophomore year, I went on a crazy involvement spree and got involved in a lot of organizations, which was awesome because it gave me that experience. But through prioritizing, I was able to notice which ones were most important to me and which ones I wanted to dedicate the most time to. Obviously, school comes first, and after your academics, that's when you can start concentrating on what organizations mean the most to you and how much time you want to dedicate to that. That being said, going off of what they both said, I write down things as soon as it's said to me, because if you save it for later, you will forget, and it comes with practice. I just got an agenda this semester. It's kind of funny because I am a senior and I've been involved all 4 years, but this is the first semester I was able to not feel stressed out and stay on top of all of my commitments, because I write down things as soon as it's there, and I'm able to just open it up and see what I have planned for the day. And that just comes in help with your personal life, your professional life, your academics, everything, because you're able to see in advance what is due, when it's due. And so I think that's how I stay on top of all of my engagements, and I suggest it for you all too.
Like Cece said, staying on top of your academics first is definitely your top priority. So just make sure that you're going to classes when you need to, you're not skipping out on homework. After that, you can really start to prioritize what kind of clubs and organizations you really want to focus on. And by doing that and managing that time, you can get more involved in the clubs, and you can start getting up in those leadership positions. So you may start to double book yourself, and you may forget about a few things. That's okay, especially in this environment where you're here to learn. Just make sure that you catch that right away, you don't make that mistake again, and next thing you know it, when you're your senior, you'll be able to run a club organization.
So I'm sure everyone in this room is dying to know, why is it important to get involved as a freshman or sophomore?
I think it's really important. I mean, a lot of us, you can probably are all social people. If not, like that's really fine. But it's a way to make professional connections. For me, I have a connection in the Alumni Association, and I was able to give one of my friends a job over the summer because I was like, hey, this person's great for this position, got hired, got a job. It's stuff like that where it's really important you have friends and connections because the opportunities are endless. One of the reasons why I'm on the sailing team is there's 50 other students on the team that can advocate for me. They're like, wow, she's awesome, she's on top of her stuff, she comes to practice, she gets good grades. So if they were ever in a position, you never know who's gonna hire you or who might be working for a company you wanna work for. It's important, like Maura has said before, don't burn bridges. Those connections are unbelievable and you never know who you're gonna meet. I'm in a leadership studies minor, and that all started from me meeting people my first weekend of freshman year at the Leadership Institute, and then I got into my Indonesia J-term trip because of that. It's weird things happen, but it makes sense. And so, the sailing team does that for me, Delta Sigma Pi does that for the business. I try to diversify what I'm involved in on campus to give those opportunities even more opportunities. Because you really don't know who you're going to meet. So it's even sitting outside in the union. Make that, just say hi to the person next to you. You don't know what they're involved in and what that could do for you. It's even when you go out and meet people, anything could happen. And you just need to be willing to go from your comfort zone to your growth zone where you're growing as an individual. Like I said before, it's all about self-awareness and self-growth, and that happens in college. I bet you all can look back on your senior year and you're like, wow, I'm a lot different. And that's probably because you've met so many people that are very different from you and helped you understand more about yourself, and you're doing the same for others. And that's really only possible if you're out there getting involved and doing stuff, because you don't want to look back on your college career I sat in my dorm and played Xbox and watched Netflix. Let's go. That's not usually how people want to look back. You want to say, oh, I did this. I had so many awesome trips sailing, or I was part of this organization where I was able to travel down to a different state and part of this organization. Those are the memories you're going to make, and the people you meet with you that's going to really round your college career.
Something I have to add to that is one of the main reasons why it's important to be involved is because you all came to college and it's you're making an investment in yourself. So by being involved in these organizations, you're learning and challenging yourself, and sometimes you might meet somebody that sees something in you that you didn't even see in yourself. So you take on the opportunity they have for you, and by being involved, so many opportunities open for you at College of Business, at this university, and you never know later in your years that you'll have this background because you took on the opportunity. And one main thing is, this is all practice. College is a big practice for the real life. So this is your time now to make the mistakes by joining these organizations so you can learn from them. So now, when you go to a interview for a job, they see that you was involved in this organization. Maybe they was too. Right there, you have a 30-minute conversation with the person that you're interviewing with, and it's so easy because you can talk about it forever because you was involved, interested in something such as that.
I think you both mentioned awesome points, and something that I think is important as to why to get involved is for personal and professional growth and development. I think we're all here, we might take the same classes, we might graduate with the same degree, but what's going to make you stand out is your experience and what you've gotten from that. And so personally, you might find interests and passions, you might develop skills that you never even knew you had. And professionally, you're going to continue developing and stand out from the rest of your peers and the rest of your classmates. And it's obviously something that you can use to your advantage, but also something that will help you become a more confident person. If you do want to look back and be proud of your time here at URI, you want to make sure that you're doing things now that will help you get to that point. So I don't think it's ever too early to get involved. If you're a freshman sitting here saying you might want to wait until next semester or wait until next year, I encourage you to just put yourself out there. Even if you are just starting off as a general member, that's the foundation. Even if it's one organization, that will lead to 2 organizations, which will lead to a job, which might lead to an internship. And you never know where it's going to take you. So I just encourage you all to go out there and find something you're interested in and follow it, because you never know where it'll have you end up.
And another thing about getting involved right away is being able to grow within your organization. So as the other members mentioned before, it's a great way to grow professionally and personally, but it's also a great way to not be bored on campus. You realize that you have a lot of free time when you attend college, you're done with classes, next thing you know it, you have hours to do nothing. If you get involved with something you're interested in, next thing you know it, you can develop those leadership skills in something you're passionate about outside of the classroom. And it's also great for later on in life, when you're going for interviews, you're able to talk about something that you were able to lead, you were really passionate about, and next thing you know it, you might be getting a job or internship offer.
Just wondering, who here is involved in something on campus? Look beside you, maybe ask that person what they're involved in, and maybe that could be an opportunity in itself. And if you're not, who's here isn't involved in something but wants to be, or wants to add an additional one? Anyone want to be part of something else? Yeah, okay, that's fine.
I would suggest asking after they.
Yeah, that was like a rhetorical question, I want to say. All right, let's bring it back.
I'm very excited,
All
but
right.
you can ask after the family.
That was my fault. Never mind.
All right, let's focus back on the panel, please. I'm sure you live with the person sitting next to you.
That was me just trying to engage with you all and saying that there are a lot of opportunities on campus, and it's okay to not be involved in something right now, but definitely pursue it. And it's, from me, the biggest thing is don't just be involved to be involved. Do it because you want to be, and be involved with something that you actually like. Like, I'm on the sailing team. Like, I'm not trying, like, and then I'm also in a business fraternity, but it's important that you're doing athletics, because I like to do athletics. Don't join an athletic team if you don't want to be. Do what's going to help you grow. And then there's, like, I sent out to all my URI 101 students a list of all the business organizations and all the organizations on campus. Doesn't matter what you're part of, but as long, it's good to do something you've never been a part of either, but it's also nice to do something that you're comfortable with and you can keep pursuing and growing with that as well.
Can I add something to that? And if you truly feel like there's no organization, no club that fits you, create that club or organization yourself. It's not impossible. So keep that in mind. And from that, you'll grow tremendously.
So we're going to open the floor for questions. There's tons of you in here, and I'm sure your mentors are sitting right up there. So we're open it for questions. Before your mentors have to call you out individually.
I'll give extra credit to students in my class. Let's go.
You got one right there.
All right. What would you say was your hardest? What would you say was the hardest challenge you had to overcome over your years in college business? For each of you individually.
Good question.
It's a great question.
For me, I
Go
guess
down the line.
Yeah, that's kind of hard. I guess it was like, for me, like, I hate math, but I'm in business college, so it's like, I like the whole idea of business. Like, I want to have a company that's creates, like, helps green markets and educates students on how to be green and how to, like, create, like, I don't know, this is like mine and ideas, whatever. But for me, it was hard to sit in an accounting class and be like, just like banging my head against the wall, like, I don't understand this. But it just, for me to be like, this is relevant to my job, I have to do it. And then sometimes it's really hard because I'm a general business student, so I have to take classes in everything. And I don't want to take classes in everything, but I know I need to. And that can be super challenging. But as soon as you get in the mindset that, like, this is helpful, or maybe it's just the person sitting next to you that's gonna help you out, you made a friend, everything matters, and you just kind of have to, like, get over it. It's hard, but it'll happen.
The biggest challenge for me, especially as a freshman, was when I was in high school. We probably all, like, never studied as much, just went into a test and it was good. But actually coming into college, I realized very quickly and the hard way that I needed to put a lot of time and effort into my classes. So I learned very quickly, just put the time in, and then hard work never fails.
For me, my hardest challenge was actually the transition from freshman year to sophomore year. I think because I had gotten comfortable and I thought I overcame all the battles of transitioning into college. So I did get a little too comfortable and confident in I guess, my abilities. And so to go into the College of Business and actually take the core curriculum classes, I think that it was a lot more difficult for me to get into that study habit that's different from high school. Like you said, you can't study the night before. You can't go into an exam unprepared. Things just don't work like that, and it takes some time, but that's why I think it's important to actually get substance in every learning experience. So for those of you who are in URI 101, if your mentors are talking to you about study habits or skills, listen, because it's something that they learned maybe after freshman year, and it's something that you want to start early. So I would say to start developing ways that you know you can learn best. And so once you master that, you can take what you learned in the classroom and outside of the classroom, reteach yourself in a way that you can understand. And I think that's kind of what helped me overcome that challenge of starting to take core business classes.
I think one of the biggest challenges for me is focusing outside of your studies. So when I came to URI, I wanted to be supply chain management major because it's a unique field of business, and I also wanted to focus on Chinese just because I never took it before I came here, and those were really my two aspects as to coming in as a freshman. But one thing that I wasn't really thinking about was getting involved on campus, and through my involvement, I feel like that's where I grew the most. Yes, I did learn a lot of valuable information in the classroom, but the professional skills that I learned, the public speaking skills, and the confidence that I gained were all through the involvement that I started my freshman year. So kind of getting in the habit of thinking, okay, there's other things to do besides just attending classes can really help you out in the long run.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Hi, Kate.
Hi.
Do you have any tips on someone who might want to switch their major? Like, I don't, but like, maybe tomorrow I wake up.
Yeah, I can start with that. So when I came to URI, I started out as a global management major, and when I was talking to someone, they said how many opportunities there were within supply chain, and that's why I switched with that. I guess one of the key things with switching your major is realizing that if you're not happy with what you're starting out to study, college is definitely the place to find out what you want to be as an adult after you graduate. So if you're thinking about maybe switching your major, I think the best advice is to switch it as soon as possible, see the different options that you have out there, and you'll be able to develop as you go.
Something that I want to add to that is we're all really lucky to be in the College of Business because the curriculum is so similar, so you do have time to decide on what major you want, and you do have time to take classes in different major areas before you make your decision, so utilize that. If you don't like your accounting class, maybe you don't want to be an accounting major. If you do like your marketing or supply chain, then you could start going to those events and start learning more about that. So my next point is that you should start educating yourself outside of the classroom because what you learn in the classroom might not necessarily be what you're doing in real life. So going to career day and events like this and asking professionals about what they do day to day gives you a better grasp on what actually is invested into this major. And lastly, I also want to add that I believe that college is a foundation, so you should never feel stuck on a path. If you do major in something, that is opening doors for a lot of other opportunities. So if you are an accounting major, but you think maybe one day you want to open your own business, you can still do that and use your accounting degree as a foundation. So I like to view all of the opportunities as such.
You said it all.
Other questions? I have a question. What do you do if you find yourself over-involved as a freshman?
I would say be professional about it. I did that. I was in an organization that was like lined up exactly with sailing, and I really wanted to be a part of it, but I just couldn't be. So like I wrote them a really professional email. I was like, thank you so much for the opportunity. I would love to see your organization grow. I wish I could be a part of it, but I can't. Maybe later in my college career, or even when I graduate, I can come back. I wrote them a very professional email, and they're like, thank you so much for reaching out. You've been a great asset. Sorry, I'm sorry. We apologize that you can't be a part of it. That was it. And for me, like I said, I got a 2.7 my first semester, and it was because of over-involvement. And so it's good to like realize like you're over-involved, but you need to like make a plan. Like I think that's the biggest thing. Is like I was like, okay, so I'm gonna come out of this organization. I'm gonna study more. I'm gonna schedule more. I think it's completely it's fine to be over involved as long as you make a plan to fix it.
To add to that, really just take the time and ask yourselves, like, what are you really here for? It's for education. So if you don't want to over-involve yourself to affect your grades, so just be, again, very professional about it. Take some time, focus on your studies, and
to add, like I said, I did go on an over-involving spree my sophomore year, and it was a great learning experience because I was able to see where my interests really lie and what I'm good at and what I'm not so good at. And I think that first you have to recognize if you are struggling and step up and admit that, say that, and do something about it. Because it's not going to benefit anyone if you're stretching yourself too thin and trying to give a little to each organization and to yourself. So again, like everyone said, if you do realize that you are over-involved and you're slacking in some areas, see what's most important to you, and then professionally, you can always step out of anything. And most people are understanding about that as long as you are staying to your commitments and being professional about the situation.
And I think Kate mentioned it best. If you do find that you are over-involved and maybe you do have to leave a place, that's totally okay, and communication is key with that. So if you do need to send a professional email, that's perfect. If you need to talk to your professor about maybe a harsh week that you had with all the involvement that you've had, a lot of times they're very understanding with that and they can really help you out. So communication is definitely the best advice if you do find yourself taking on too much. And again, college is a time where it's okay to fail. You just need to learn from your failures, and communicating to others as to what you can do to be better will help you out in the long run.
How does student involvement in college relate to life after college?
I know I mentioned it a little bit before with how you're able to use some of that information in an interview kind of setting. I just had an interview and I talked about being on the recruitment and retention side of tour guiding. I talked about how for orientation I have new plans in order to enhance the program. And even for URI 101, how I'm able to speak in front of a class every Thursday morning. These are all just valuable skills where you're able to come up with examples on the spot. And when they ask you questions such as, what do you do when you have a team, a challenging member on your team, things like that, you have examples ready to go where someone who might just focus on their studies don't have those answers right away.
And I think that not only in the actual interview, but for jobs, internships, just life in general, the skills that you learn in college, especially in your involvement, are applicable to absolutely everything. So if you are learning how to organize yourself better, how to use time management, how to speak in front of a crowd, those are skills that you'll use in everyday life, and they will help you stand out from the crowd. They will help you impress employers or impress people around you, knowing that you've already gone through these learning experiences and you're ready to learn more and grow more.
Yeah, so yes, again, the biggest way it relates is basically by you having more experience than the person next to you. So you are able to do things that maybe somebody else and just going focusing on their studies and not involved as much won't be able to do. You'll be able to take charge and have just many more options when it comes to a situation, a problem. You take back what you learned in between the campus involvement and apply it to your everyday life after college.
Yeah, and like a lot of you in URI 101 learned about like professional emails, professional etiquette, and whatnot. And when you now have that like skill, it's like it instills a sense of confidence in you. I think confidence is huge. My senior year was not confident, but through my involvement through URI 101, I have to write emails to my students every week. I have to be prepared, be organized, time management every Tuesday, and I have to public speak in front of my class. It's like practice makes perfect. It's just like why I go to practice for sailing. That practice is going to make you more prepared, and when you're prepared, you're confident.